He was the perfect dad. That's not an exaggeration. That's not nostalgia clouding the truth. He really was. He was present, warm, funny in a quiet kind of way. The guy who knew how to fix a bike tire and make the best pancakes on Sunday mornings. The kind of dad who knew when to offer advice and when to just sit beside you in silence. And then, one day, he was gone. No goodbye, no note, no clue, just gone. And what I found while trying to figure out why, what I discovered about the man I thought I knew, changed my understanding of him and myself forever. So if you've ever had someone vanish from your life with no explanation, if you've ever wondered how well you really know the people closest to you, then stick with me, because this story isn't what you think it is, and it doesn't end the way you expect. I was 17 when my dad disappeared, a junior in high school. I came home from school to an empty house. That wasn't strange. He sometimes worked late. But by 9 p.m., my mom was pacing the living room, phone in hand, calling his cell over and over. No answer. By midnight, she'd called the police. I remember how calm they were at first. Adults leave all the time. He probably just needed a break. But we knew better. My dad wasn't the kind of man to just leave, especially not without his wallet, or his phone, or the keys to his car, which was still parked in the driveway. The first few days were chaos. Family came over, neighbors offered support, flyers were printed, photos were posted online. I skipped school. My mom barely slept. And then things just slowed down. Like the whole world collectively decided that if there were no answers, there was no reason to keep looking. But I never stopped, because I had questions. Not just about where he went, but why. See, there was this strange moment a few weeks before he disappeared. We were having lunch, just the two of us. And he looked at me and said, "If anything ever happens, remember you're stronger than you think." I laughed it off, said, "What, are you dying or something?" He didn't laugh, just smiled and said, "I hope not." I thought it was just one of those dramatic dad things. But now, I'm not so sure. Years passed. I went to college, tried to move on, tried to be okay. But the truth was, there was this hole inside me, this unfinished chapter. I didn't know if he was alive or dead. Didn't know if he left us or if something took him from us. And that question burned inside me every single day. Then, on the 6th anniversary of his disappearance, something strange happened. I received a letter. Not an email, not a text. A physical letter. No return address, no name. Just my name, handwritten on the front. Inside was one sentence. "I never stopped watching over you." No signature, no explanation. But the handwriting. I recognized it. It was my dad's. I didn't tell my mom at first. Didn't tell anyone. I thought maybe I was imagining things. So I took the letter to a handwriting expert. Paid out of pocket. Told them it was for a school project. They compared it to a birthday card from my dad years before. Same loops in the G. Same slanted E. Match confirmed. My heart was racing. I remember thinking, he's alive. And he's been out there, somewhere, this whole time. But why hadn't he come home? Why the mystery? Why the pain? That's when I made the decision. I would find him myself. I started digging through everything he left behind. Old tax records, receipts, boxes in the attic. And in one of those boxes, inside a book called The Art of Silence, was a hidden folder. Inside the folder were newspaper clippings about people I didn't know, about crimes, cold cases, obituaries, and one photo, black and white, folded, worn, of my dad standing beside a man I'd never seen before. On the back, in faded ink, it said, "Diego, 1987. I owe him everything." That name, Diego, led me down a rabbit hole. Through archived forums, old message boards, even some darknet rumors. Apparently, Diego had once been connected to something big. An informant, a whistleblower, something shady. and my dad was once in the same circles. The pieces didn't fit together yet, but I knew where to go next. I took a week off work and flew to New Mexico, a town listed in one of the clippings. Population less than 3,000. No Starbucks. No cell service in half the town. But on the second day, I found the post office, and I asked the clerk, "Do you know anyone named Diego?" The guy didn't even blink. He said, "You a cop?" I said no, just a friend of the family. He scribbled something on a napkin, an address just outside of town. When I got there, the place was quiet, run down. But when I knocked on the door, a man in his 60s opened it. And for a second, I thought I was looking at my dad's twin. Not because they looked alike, but because he froze, like he saw a ghost. "You're James's kid," he said. I nodded. Then he let me in. We sat in silence for a long time. Then Diego started talking. He told me stories about my dad I had never heard. About how, before I was born, he was involved in exposing something dangerous. Not like Hollywood-level spy stuff, but corporate, pharmaceutical cover-ups. He had evidence, he testified, and in doing so, he made enemies. Powerful ones. They threatened him, and eventually, they came too close. So he made a choice to disappear, to protect us. But here's the twist. That didn't happen when I was 17. That happened when I was 4. Everything after that, the perfect dad I remembered, that was the second life, the safe life. He had changed his name, moved us to the suburbs, buried everything about his past. But when someone started digging again, when old enemies resurfaced, he knew it was only a matter of time. So he vanished. Not to run, but to keep us safe. And the worst part? He never stopped watching. Diego pulled out a shoebox of letters, all addressed to me, all written over the last decade. He never sent them. Said it was too risky, said it might lead people to me. So instead, he kept writing, hoping someday I'd find him. And I had. We talked all night. And in the morning, he gave me one final thing. A location. A cabin, way off the grid. He said, "If you want to see him, go there. But go alone, and don't bring your phone." It sounded like a movie, but I didn't care. I went. And yes, I saw him. Older, thinner, but still him. We didn't say much at first. We just hugged for the first time in 14 years. And in that moment, everything made sense. Everything hurt. Everything healed. He told me not to tell Mom. Said it would put her at risk. Said some things you can't undo. And I hated that. But I understood. Before I left, I asked him, "Do you regret it?" He looked at me with tears in his eyes and said, "Every single day. But I do it all again." And then I left. Back to my life. Back to the version of the world where my dad is missing. But now I know the truth, and I carry it with me. So when people say he was the perfect dad, then he disappeared, I just nod. Because the truth isn't always something you can explain. Sometimes love means leaving. Sometimes protection comes with pain. And sometimes the people we miss the most are still out there, watching over us in ways we can't even imagine. Thank you for listening to my story. This channel is something I'm building from scratch, with heart, with hope, with stories that matter. If this one meant something to you, if it made you feel anything, I'd love if you hit that subscribe button. Our dream is to reach 100 subscribers, one story at a time. You'd be helping make that dream real. Thanks for being here. And remember, sometimes the story you're told isn't the whole story.